So I'm going to just a simple is when I finish I would explain it to callers. Oh, so welcome Samira Isa. Samira Isa is my boss. She's joining today to look at how I teach and everything. Samira, you're welcome. Okay, okay, sure. So let me make it like this. And then, so okay, let me add this. Let me type where do we deliver your package, or let's say here your package or your order rather, and like that. So this is a simple app I am trying to create, and it's just like something like you want to order food from maybe a restaurant, and it will ask you, so hello, valid customer, I am Muta. Can I know your name? And you put your name there, and it will tell you, you know, welcome. Then your name you put there. What can we offer you? Then you put your offer. I want blah blah blah. Then you say it will tell you, it will ask you where do you want to deliver it to, and then you give in that, and it in the end it will print to you. You ordered for the food you ordered, and then to be delivered to that location, and we would get it to you ASAP, and thank you for buying from us, something like that. So if I run this, it works like this. Hey, value customer, I am Muta. It's like customer representation. Let's say representative. If you are ordering maybe from a restaurant online, and then they set a robot there, something like this. This is how it is. So hello, value customer, can I know your name? Let me say my name is Mira, and I hit. So you see, he came. Welcome, Mira. What can what can we offer you? And I say I want rice, or let's say I want chicken. Probably I like chicken, right? And then where do we deliver it to? I say Brunei. I say KST. Okay. What does the F represent? Jonathan, take your time. I will explain everything to you. Thank you for bringing up that. So I hit enter, and you can see this. You ordered for chicken to be delivered at Brunei University. We would get to you ASAP. We will get it to you ASAP. Thanks for buying from us. So something like this. So this is a simple 4 lines of code, 4 lines code to kind of interact with the customer, and then you know ask of what you're buying, and then what your location, and get it to you. So now, before I even get to the control flow in this, Jonathan is asking what is the F for. So the F is actually called it is called formatted, string. Formatted string, like it is a way to format, the output of an input, or probably like format output. So you can see that here, instead of just doing input then put the text in a parenthesis in the quote, I'm actually starting with F. So it's just like the same thing, but I'm beginning with F. And what it makes it, what this does is that it is able to, it gives the text the ability, or it gives you the ability to add variable names, you know, or other stuff, variable names, you get it, into the text. The text, and Python will see it as a variable name. It won't process it as um, a, a text, but it's rather a variable. You can see to do that, you put it in a quote, sorry, a curly bracket, the braces, and then you are good to go. So something like that. So what this is doing is that welcome, and then it is picking the name which is stored in the name variable here above, the name you inputted. So it's whatever name you put there, it will be welcome. The name you put there, what can we offer you? It's just a text. So welcome, maybe Jonathan, what can we offer you? And then the location is also like, where do you want blah blah blah, like where do you want to order to, where do you want to deliver it to, and then you give. So when you come here, you want to summarize whatever you've bought, or whatever information you've provided for us in a meaningful way. So I'm saying that you ordered for, I don't want to hard code. I want this to be reusable. So if another person comes, he can do so like automation. So I'm rather, instead of rather hard coding whatever you put here, the offer here, I'm just saying that okay, you ordered for, then the offer, you actually placed here. So it is the F is there. It's called formatted string. It is a way to actually format a string output. Either print or input, like an output, a text. Format a string, just like that. String is a text, to add it, to give it capabilities of um, adding variables to it to make it nice, just like you see here. So that, I don't know whether it makes sense, or anyone has a question about that before I jump into it. Okay, Jacobina said thank you. So that's it. Uh, Let me go back to what I was saying. So now you can see that this app is really running very well. Now I say, you ask another person. So hello, value customer, my name is blah blah blah. What's your name? I say my name is Jonah. My name is Tom. And welcome, Jonathan. You can see now we have Jonathan here. So he's saying that welcome, Jonathan. What can we offer you? Jonathan says he wants Gobe, because he's a hustler. Then where do you want to deliver it? And Jonathan says, okay, I want to UPSA. campus, and it will say you ordered for Gobe to be delivered, at UPSA campus. We will get it to you ASAP, something like that. So Jonathan's Gobe will be delivered to wherever he wants it to be to, as soon as possible, something like that. But the problem here is, there is a problem. Right now, let's say I just also came. Let's say you deliver to a particular, restricted area. Let's say you only deliver within Greater Accra region. You get it. And I am in Kumasi, for example, and your restaurant is at um, Opungulu, or maybe it is at Atomic Junction, or probably Medina or somewhere around that area, or maybe any place in Accra, and you are in Kane West. I am here in Kumasi right now, and I want to buy from your shop. So since it is a website, everybody can access, and then I order. So let me try ordering. So it comes. Can I know your name? I said, yeah, my name is Bright. Probably because your food is very cheap or very nice. So welcome, Bright. What can you offer? Right, Bright wants to buy just bottled water, so Vienna water, or let's say water, just water. And he places, where do you where do we deliver this to? And then Bright says K University, or yeah, K University campus, sorry, Kumasi. And you see, it says you order for water to be delivered to blah blah blah. But it doesn't make sense. Who buys water from Accra to Kumasi? Just one bottle of water. So you see, this is not a viable program. So there is no logic in this programming. It is like, just vague. There is no control of flow. You get it? There is no reasoning behind it, because if somebody even enters a place outside Ghana, or the code will just, or the program will just tell the person he ordered for the particular thing to be delivered to that location he gave. Even if I give a location, instead of typing maybe the location, I just type 123, or probably my phone number there, by mistake. Customers can be weird. Maybe the person doesn't know much English, or his education is very down, and he wants order. So when you saw location, maybe he will say, for example, Ghana, and all those stuff. So how do we control the flow of the program? How the codes operate? How do we actually control that? That is what the if statement, or that is what we mean by control flows. And the control flows is just like I said, how we control the movement or the flow of the program, from top to down. So from inputting your name to the offer to the location, and then that going, how do we control? And we do that using the if statements. So for example, in our case, so we will come back to this, but let's see how we can do, or how we can do the if statement. So the if statement. So the if statement is simple. To create an if statement in, or to create a control flow and logic in Python, we use the if statement. And to create an if statement is very simple. You just do the keyword if. You begin with the keyword if, and then you give the condition or conditions. So whatever condition you want to, and then you end with a colon. So if the conditions, then you hit the enter. You can see that it indents when you add the colon. It automatically indents the code. That is how Python operates. And then now here will be the value if true, and that is it. So value if true. So this is what it means. So you give the if statement and you give a condition. And if the condition is true, what do you want the Python or the program to do? So whatever you want it to do will be what will follow here in that indented format. So for example, I want to say that I want to create a simple um, instance of loop. So if 3 is, and then the condition can be anything. It can be mathematical conditions. It can be whatever. So if 3 is less than 4, then I end. That is the condition. If 3, let me give some space. And mind you, whether you give space or not, it doesn't add anything in Python. So if this is the condition, so if is a keyword, so if then condition, the condition is 3 is less than 4. So if 3 is less than 4, that is my condition. I end with a colon. Please, not a semicolon, not the full stop and the comma, but the two dots. If you don't do that, it's not going to work. And when you do that and hit enter, you see that the thing has indented. I mean, indented is like the cursor has shifted it, it has left some space, on your left. Now, don't go back. If you go back, if you shift it back like this and you write the code, it's not going to work. And if by accident you hit it and you want to return to the listing, you hit it and it's a back like this and you want to get it back to where it was, you can hit the tab key, the tab TAB, the tab key on your keyboard, or you can hit the space bar 4 times. Space bar 4 times is the same as the tab. Let me admit this person. So Samira joined again. Okay. So I was saying if you can either hit the tab or you can hit the space bar 4 times. One, two, three, or simply the tab. So with that being said, I want to say that if 3 is less than 4, then I want to print true, or this is true. So let's run and see. So it gives this is true because it is the condition is true. So like I was saying, so when you give a condition here, and then if the condition is true, whatever you put under the indented, whatever you put under the indented or the indentation down here is what is going to be evaluated. But if it is false, nothing happens. Now let's see if I change the trait for the condition makes it. If 5 is less than 4, then print this is true. Now we all know that this is false. 5 is actually greater than 4. So since it is false, if I run, I don't see anything. So meaning the condition is what? False. The condition is false. That is why we didn't see anything because this is going to be executed if the condition is true. Sorry. So that is why I said value if true. So value if true is simply what is going to happen if the condition you provide here is true. Now, if you provide a condition which is false, nothing happens, and that is not what we want. So when we have such an if which has only one statement, that is when the condition is true, like it's in this case, as in this case, when the condition is false, you don't see anything happen. So when we have this situation, then we say that we have the one-sided if, the one-sided if, or the single sided if, meaning that it is more like it is single-sided, something like this. So if is like this, this is how if operates. So let's say there is a box like this, and then we saying that the flow comes down, and there is an if in here. Sorry, my drawing is very bad. So this is if. So if. So I will say that I have two branches. If it is true, so this is true, and this is going to be false. So if it is true, then we're going to, if it is true, then we're going to have whatever happens here. You get it? The program is going to execute whatever happens here. So the program is actually going to execute whatever happens here. But if it is false, then the program does whatever is happening here. But you can see that we didn't give any false condition here. So in this case, this loop, or this if, sorry, no loop, this if is actually something like this. It just has, let me draw. So it has just this box. That is the condition. That is the flow output. And then this is the condition. So it comes down. So when it comes down to the if in the box like this, it only has one, center, one, like as in one root, and that root is actually the true root. So that is going to be executed. That code is going to be run if only if the condition given above is true. So it doesn't have a false side. That is why we call it one-sided. If I don't know if it makes sense. It's a bit technical, so you need to pay some attention before. So it's going to be like this. So it's only one-sided. So whatever is here is going to be executed if the condition here is true, something like that. Simple. So if that is a single-sided if. Now, what if I want to, let's look at a double-sided if. The double-sided if is actually called, oh, who is that? Theophilus, you're welcome. And please always make sure you come on time so that you don't distract us when I'm teaching and you join in. I have to stop it. You know, um, go and let you in. It doesn't help, right? So always try to come on time. So an if with both true and false, sides, like which is having two things, like the first thing I drew. So which is having something like another, true, another root, which evaluates when the condition is false. So when we have an if like this, then we have the if else or the double-sided if statement. And the double-sided if statement is actually called if else. If else. So this is how we do the if else. So the same, let's try to replicate the same condition. So if 5 is less than 4, then if it is true, I want to print this is true. But now, if I just remain it like this and I run, you see nothing comes because it is false. Now, I don't want it to be like that. I want to also print something if it is false. So I'm giving it two sides. If it is true, do this. If it is false, do this. Now, to do that, I just have to add the else, keyword. So else colon, then hit enter. And I'm saying that if it is false, then print this is false. So what is this doing? Now, this is how it is. Let's just try to break it down. So if this condition given here is true, then print this. So if it is not true, we have two things. So if it is not true, then it is false. So if this condition is not true, and because of that you can't, evaluate this, else just do this. You get it? The reason why we don't put another condition here is that we have only two things. Only two things, that is true or false, two outcomes. So if one is not true, then the other. If it is not this one, then the other. So we have two genders. So if you are not a male, you are a female. Simple. So something like that. So if you give birth and they look at the genital part and the person is a guy, then we conclude he's a guy. But if he is not a guy, then automatically it's a she, a girl, baby girl. So something like that. So if you are not dead, you are alive, something like that. So that is binary. So when we have two outcomes, we don't need to specify um, any, what do you call it, condition again. One condition will do all. So this is how it will do. So if it's something like if 5, so the 5, let me try change the color to make it black. So if this is a condition, so if indeed 5 is less than 4, if this is true, then it is going to print the true. It is going to print this is true. So if it is true, it will pass here. The flow will pass here, and then it comes to this side, and it will evaluate this. But if it is false, then it will pass here, and then it will come and print this is false, something like that. So that is how we do it. True or false. So it's like the if statement helps the computer to make decisions. So if a condition based on a condition you provide, and I said it can be condition or conditions. So one condition or more than one condition. So if it is a condition, so if that condition or the conditions is true, then it will do something. That is a one-sided. And if it is false, it doesn't do anything. But if you want a two-sided, then we actually going to have, if it is true, it will do something, and if it is false, it is also going to do another something, just like this. So you can see that here, if I come and then I run this, I see this is false. So you can see it jumped this, and it has printed this is false because the condition given is false. You get it? So if I change this to probably 6, you see that it says this is true because the condition given is evaluated to be true. So if the condition is true, then it will print the it will now move to where the true, it will flow to the true side and then print whatever we specified or do whatever you specified there. That when it is true, then print this is true. When it is false, print this is false. So this is how we do a two-sided, if in Python. So uh, we have seen how to do the one-sided single or the single if, and then we have seen how we do two. What if we have more than two options? For example, continents. Let's say we want to see which continent the person is from. You know, So if you are not from, so if you provide your country, so we can say that if the country is in Africa, then print that you are an African. If it is from Europe, then print that you are an European. European. If you print, or if the country is found in the list of countries or it's in Asia, it's found in Asia, then print you are Asian, and so on. So you can see in this case, we don't just have two or binary, outcomes or binary conditions. We have more than two outcomes. So when that happens, we can also use ifs to do that, and it is similar to what we do in here. Let me clean my bomb here before it distracts anyone. Um, and don't worry if you don't get anything. You can ask me all the questions when I finish. And there is also tutorials. Yesterday I sent a YouTube video to the WhatsApp page. I think he does it better than I do. It's an hour and some minutes video. You can watch that. You can use W3 schools to read. Mind you, no one got everything, in their first program. You are even lucky. Most of you get almost everything from your listing. Some of us spent a lot of days, before getting months and some even up to year or years before mastering Python. So this is how we create single-sided and then the double-sided here, and then now let's go to when we have you know more than two outcomes. So let's say more than two outcomes. So if you have more than two outcomes, then you just do the same thing if and a condition or conditions. Now you don't forget your colon, you hit enter. Then this is the value if the first, if true, or value if, let me make it this. Now, since we have more than one condition, let me make first condition, and then we say this will be the value if first condition is true. And then instead of doing else, you do else if. That is combination of else and if. So el if, not else if, el if. Then el if just like you did So it is else if, combination of else and if. So else if, just like you did the if, then you give the second condition, another colon. Then what you should do when that condition is true. So let me just copy this and paste. I hate typing too much. So value if second condition is true. And we can give, if let's say we have four, if we have just three, then the last one is going to be else. Then you give, the else, or the last, that will be the last value. Because if you have three outcomes, for example, if you are not dead, alive, or probably in the middle, if you are not, let me try see if Ghana has three colors, Ghana flag has three colors, uh, red, yellow, green. So if you are not red and you are not yellow, then you are green, something like that. So here we have, let's say, assume we have three religions: the ATM, the ATR, sorry, the African traditional religion. We have Islam and Christianity. So if you are not a Muslim, you are not a Christian, then automatically we don't need to even ask again. Assuming we have only three um, religions, then we can say that because you don't satisfy the first two, then automatically you will be in the last one because everybody must belong to one. That is the thing you put at at the back of your mind. Everybody belongs to one. So if I am not in the first, I'm not the second, then I'm in the third, for instance. Yeah. So um let me try. I want an example. Who can give me an example which has um, three outcomes? Okay, like football. So we have win, lose, or draw. So for example, let's say if um, what should I even? Let me just give a condition. If three is equal to is less than two, then print you you won, something like that. You won, and then elif if oh, let me try make it realistic. Yeah. So if three is less than two, then print three is less than two, and elif then condition. If three is actually greater than two, then you print. Oh, let me. Two. So then I want you to print three is greater than two, and if it is not, if you have two numbers, if it is not greater than less than, then they are equal, right? So the last one, I don't even need to specify the condition. The reason I can specify the condition, but it doesn't make sense in programming. It doesn't make sense. It means you don't know what you're doing. So you just don't give because you have three outputs and all of them, a value or a condition or whatever. A member should be in one. It can only be in one. Must be in only one group. So if you are not in the first group, automatically you should be in the last group. So we just say print 3 is equal to 2. So if 3 is not greater than 2, if you have two numbers, if 3 is not greater than 2, if 3 is not less than 2, then 3 is equal to 2, right? So let's see. We get 3 is greater than 2 because, yes, indeed, 3 is never less than 2. So this is true. And that it gives us it prints the truth statement for this. Now let's see. 3. Mm, okay, this is 3 is less than 3, 3 is greater than 3. Now let's see. It gives us 3 is less than 3 is equal to 2. And also it prints this. Oh, let me change this one to 3. Let me change this one to 3. So we're saying that we're given 3 conditions. That is 3 is less than 2. And if it is 3 less than 3, if it is true, print 3 is less than 3. And another condition is 3 is less than um, greater than 3. If it is true, print 3 is greater than 3. And the last thing is if the 3 is not greater than or less than 3, then it is equal to. And you can see it gives us 3 is equal to 3. That is how we can. And you can expand or extend this to 4, 5, or millions, up to millions, infinity number of outcomes. So, for example, if we have um, 4 conditions, it's going to be. Let me make it this way. Oh, let me just copy. I don't like typing too much. Let me copy this. And so what we do is instead of just let's add another one, another elif. So this will be the third condition, and then the value if condition is true. So something like that. So you can move on and on and on. So if you have 5 conditions, to then we just add another elif, and then the fourth. That is the fourth condition column, and see value if. So if I'm telling it, yeah, something like that. So this is how we do it. I think they are quite very simple. I just want you to know this, and I'm going to apply some real life. You're going to apply the ifs to this we did here. You realize there was a mistake or there was a problem, not a mistake with it. That is, we cannot regulate. We want to take an order from, you know, we want to take an order from or within only Greater Accra, and that if someone is not within the Greater Accra region, we cannot deliver to the person. So now let's see how we can actually rewrite this. So first we will take the person's name, just like the first one. So you enter your name. Then we ask you also about what offer you want. So and then the third one is going to be a location, probably location, and we be like, and then we ask you maybe let me add something region, and let's say input. Um, how do I even ask? Are you within Greater Accra region? If so, you can now let me actually even provide. So yes or no. I want you to provide yes or no. And now I want to say if the person is within the Greater Accra region, then fine, then we accept your this thing. But if you are not in the Greater Accra region, then we print sorry we cannot, you know, deliver to blah blah blah. So I'll add an if statement. So if now the condition is going to be your region. So I can just say that if then this thing is going to be region. That is the region you enter. Is it equals to? Yes. Now you can see we're using double equal to here. Now, yeah. So when you use double equal to in Python, it actually means that it is the normal equal to. But when you use one equal to, it is called the assignment operator. The normal equal to is actually used to assign a value to a variable. But if you want to write the normal like equal to as an equal to in mathematics, then you do the double equal to sign. So I'm saying that if the response you give here, because if you say yes, it means that if you reply, I'm asking you, are you within the Greater Accra region? If you say yes, then it means that yes, indeed, you are in the Greater Accra region and I can deliver to you. So, but if you say no, it means you are not in Greater Accra region. So what I am saying is that if region, that is the answer you give, the yes or no. So if the answer is actually equal to yes, don't forget your colon. Now, what do we want to do? Then we want to print to the person that you want to show what the person bought and tell the person that you are actually going to they're actually going to deliver it to you ASAP and everything. So now let's run this and see. Now you ask me what is your name, I say my name is Samira and welcome Samira. What can we offer you? I know Samira likes chicken too much. So where do you where do we deliver it to you? I say nine okay university. And ask me, are you within the this thing? I say no. Nothing happens, right? Nothing happens. You can see he didn't give me that this thing. You ordered blah blah blah. You get it. This is because now let's see if I let's run it again before I even say. So Samira says no, I don't understand. I really need this chicken, and she tries again. What can you offer? She says, oh, no, I want chicken, and she says Brunei, King, King University, and she says yes, she's in Accra. So you can see it comes. You ordered for chicken to be delivered at Brunei, blah 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 blah. We will get it to you. You get it. So now we can see that here, when the person says I'm not within Greater Accra, we don't see anything. The person, we don't print anything to the person, so the person wouldn't know what's happening. Maybe you may think why there is network error, and the person will keep trying and trying. We don't want that. We want to signal you that Charlie, we are not delivering to, you know, your place. So we add an else. So the first instance I showed you here is a single or the one-sided um, if it only has the place or the value when the condition is true and has no false side. So to add the false side to make it double sided if we just don't forget add the else keyword. So it is two things. It is either you are within Greater Accra region or you are not within Greater Accra region. So if it is true that the person is in Greater Accra region, then we print the person's food and whatever to the person, what the person bought and the summary and how and all those stuff. But if he is not or he or she is not in the listing, Samira isn't in Greater Accra region, we want to print to Samira that oops, oops is not the right way. Sorry, we do not deliver to or deliver outside Greater Accra region. Now let's print and see. So Samira is so desperate to eat chicken, and she says she's still requesting for chicken. Although she's not getting it, but she's still requesting. She said still Brunei, of course the best school in Ghana, University. And are you within? She said no. Sorry, we do not deliver, outside Greater Accra region. So bad. Now let's see if she says yes. Samira, she was shaking. We did not deliver. Why do you? So you say Brunei, okay, and UST. She says yes. Now you say you ordered blah blah blah. So you can see it is now two-sided. So she, whether she picks yes or no, she has an option. So if you pick no, then it tells you sorry we do not. So if you pick no, it is going to tell you sorry we do not deliver outside Greater Accra region. But if you pick yes, it is going to tell you um it will tell you, summarize everything for you, that you ordered for this and we're delivering it to this place, and we will get it to you ASAP. Thanks, and thanks for buying from us, something like that. So that's also something I want you to know. And we can also look at the double, sided, the double sided, if, sorry, the multiple, more than double, more than two. So that one too, I want to illustrate that one using the grading system, more like a grading system. So if you get for all of us to be on the same page, if you get, let's use WASI. So if you get, I think 80 to 100 is A, 70 to 79 B, 60 to 69 C, what again, 50 to 59 D, 40 to 49 E, and below 40 F food. So we want to implement that thing. If you want to teach the computer how to do that, then you can use an if, statements, control flows. You tell the computer what to do. So I don't know. Let me pick two questions, then I move on to that one. I think it's being a bit technical, so I need to take my time and take your questions before. So two questions. You can raise your hand if you have any question. Okay, right, also. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Right. So I always like experimenting. I don't always want to give answers, conclude. The best way to let students learn is to actually experiment for the student to see. If you are curious, we show you, you see it, then you see, so that I don't. So ELIF, and mind you, if you want to use ELIF, then it means you have to provide a condition. So the condition is that region, equals to no, right? If now let's see. So let me use your right. What do you like? Unmute yourself. Tell me, what do you want to buy? Ah, okay. Big man like you, biscuits from a restaurant. You want to order biscuit? How much? Where are we delivering it to? Bomso. Are you within Greater Accra region? Sorry, we do not deliver outside. So it worked right, just like this one. But you can see here, when you use the else, you don't provide a condition. But when you use the elif, you provide a condition. Now, let me tell you one thing. They all gave the right answers, right? They all worked perfectly fine. But the only thing is, this is for a beginner, and this is for an expert. If you do this, it means you know what you are doing. If you do this, you don't know what you are doing. You know, computing, when programming, we don't only look at ways to do things. We look at how to also minimize computational cost. Everything you do, every program you run, every code you write has an effect on the user. So if the code is so messy, or let's say it is too plenty, and the logic behind it is not clear, it eats a lot of memory in the computer's memory. That is why it eats a lot of space in the computer's memory. That is why you visit some apps and they run very, very slow. I don't know whether you've all experienced that. You visit some apps and you realize they run very, very slow. It is all due to the poor programming in sequence. So it is always not advisable if you have two. So if you have only two options, then always make sure the last one is just else, so that you don't give any condition, right? But if you give, it's going to work. Remind you, it is not the best practice, and this one takes a lot of memory in the computer than this. So if you go in for programming interview and all this, let's say you come and meet me and I give you a task and you give me this one, I'll know that this guy knows what he's doing. But if you give me this, I'll know this guy, you know, he just learned yesterday. So that is one thing I want you not always looking at. "Oh, I want to mean the I know we have this in mathematics. What matters is the end results, the answer, the answer. This is not an MCQ or questions where you do TCBD, like random selection, and you get. So always make sure you do the best practices. You simplify your codes to also preserve computing power, you know, or computing space. Because in real life, we deploy most of these apps on servers, and the more the app consumes, the more you pay. Yeah, so that's it. Any other question? I don't know, right? If you are cool or anyone has a follow-up question on that, you're welcome. Any other question? So, okay, Samira says here, please, what's the difference between else and elif? Samira, are you cool now? Okay, I will work on Sadiq. Talk, then I get back to Samira. Okay, Samira is cool. So Abubakar Siddiq, go ahead. Your hand is up. You can unmute yourself and speak. Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay. That's a very nice question. That was where I wanted to go before. That was the next thing I wanted to talk about. So, okay. So let's try and see. Always I like experimenting, right? So your name is Abubakar. Abubakar, unmute yourself. What do you want to buy? Kobe. My friend. Talk what you can buy. When was the last time you bought pizza? Ah, my brother, you want to buy Kobe? I'll choose for you, Kobe. Kobe. Is it because ladies are here? That's why I do that. So, right, Jollof. And then where do you, let's say Kumasi, and are you within Greater Accra or not? Then let's say this person is like my good friend Samira. Samira she's always one step ahead. So she said, I am not, or maybe she should be like, I am not Accra based. I school in Kumasi and currently in my final year. You see what happened? Sorry, we do not deliver outside Greater Accra region. So you may think everything worked, but let's see. Samira, sorry for using you, but it is true, right? So uh, let's say, let me try something like who? Let me use my tea. My tea wants to buy pizza. I'll buy for my tea. Don't worry. Where do you live? My tea lives in Tamale. So she wants to buy pizza from here, from Accra to Tamale. And are you reading Greater Accra? She says, maybe let's say, yeah, let's say Tamale is in Accra. Let's imagine. And she says, instead of yes, ladies of today, 21st century ladies, she said, yep. It says, sorry, we do not deliver outside Greater Accra region. This is strange, right? This is really, really strange. My brother, my sister, this is strange because yup means yes, but he said yep and it says, sorry, we do not deliver outside Greater Accra region. This is strange, but the reason is simple. Now, this is the reason. The reason is because we had coded the yes or no there. So you can see that the region only knows yes or no. And then even aside that, you can see that the if region equal to, you can see we specified yes, like as in yes, as in quote. So we want this. You get it? We want this. Yes. And that means that if you don't provide the yes, anything, even if you provide the yes and it is capital Y, it is actually going to tell you, sorry, we do not deliver outside Greater Accra region. Because we are saying that we want it to be exactly, you know, the spelling here and the same, caps and everything, which is about something. This is something programmers seem to, avoid and everything. So, there are many ways to avoid this. I will tell you some and give some to you as an assignment. And I'm aware I gave you an assignment, I think in the second week. Nobody talked about this. Nobody told me I gave you assignment because I forgot. All of you took it quiet. Now this one I'm writing it right away into my diary. I think I even gave you two assignments. I've given you two assignments so far. No one told me, oh Charlie, I did the assignments. Even my tea, she didn't she didn't tell me, Charlie, you have to collect the assignments from them. So uh, we are actually going to this one. I'll write it. And please, when I give you assignments, I don't mean show it to me, but if you go and look into that, it will help you in future. And you thank me later. So one way of one way of actually doing that. We know that a lot of people respond to yes within some way. Yeah, yup, yeah, as in YAH, and the guys to yes, and then people will be like yes please. Some people will be like yeah, yeah please, and all those yup and all those stuff. So we know that, and one way to actually prevent this will be to maybe specify to the person, just like we did here. You can see that we did yes or no. So it will guide the person that we want yes or no. Or maybe put something like, an instruction like yes or no. Make sure you type in smaller case or something like that. Or you can probably here, instead of defining this just um, yes, we can actually define a list, a collection of items. So not just one item. I would say that yes, I know that yes is also the same as, yep, and people will say, uh, yep, people will say, yeah, then put it in quotes. People will say, oh, what's happening? Yes, people will say, um, the guys, what will you say? People will say, yes, please. The, the, the innocent ones will say, yes, please. And what again? What again? Can anyone unmute himself or herself and tell me one of the possible, you know, outcomes? Or let me just keep, don't mind me, so let me keep it like this. Now we can use equal to, because you cannot say region, just one output or one input is equal to the whole collection. So we use the keyword in. So what we're going to say is that if the answer the person gave, that is the yes, yeah, whatever you give, it is if it is in the list called a list of yes, yup, yup, yeah, yes please, then do this. Otherwise, no. So if I run this and hopefully it works. Let's say my name is Jacobina. Jacobina, what do you want to offer? Jacobina says, so I want fufu. And where do you want to? Jacobina says, Opungulo. Opungulo. And she says, yeah. He says what? Two. Okay, so I didn't give yeah there. You guys didn't see me typing, doing a typo. Instead of instead of the E, I didn't bring the E. I omitted the E. Ah, you guys, it's not fair now. At least tell me, Charlie, you are doing a mistake. Well, let me. So the copy now watch if I am doing the distance. The copy now was fufu. And where do we deliver it to you? She says, Pumbulu, Pumbulu Harvard. And she says, yeah. So you can see you ordered blah blah blah. The same way, if you run and you reply with anything in here, anything in this, then the person it's actually going to give you to see that okay, it means yeah, you get it. Another way to do this would also be let me try copy this. Let me try yeah, let me try copy this here and this copy this rather and come down here. Now another way is I can keep the yes because I've specified yes or no here. So I believe everybody will say yes. And I'm going to say if if you say yes, fine. And then I'll say L if you say no, then print, this. So if the person says yes, then we tell the person, okay, we are delivering it, we are actually getting your food to you ASAP. But if you say no, then we tell you that sorry, we don't deliver outside Greater Accra region. So what if you actually typed something different from yes or something different from no? Something like yes please, yeah, and all those ones. I want to say that now if you didn't type yes or no, then I want to print to you that um, maybe it seems you gave a wrong answer. Check or make sure to reply by yes or no. So if I do this, then probably we get some Americana. So Rashad says, or maybe he's from Jamaica. Let's say that, and then what can Rashad would be offer you? He says, "Oh, I want Jamaican rice or the Jamaican pizza." And where do you deliver it to? He says he wants it in probably Kingston. He's ordering, maybe he hired and he wants to order it to Jamaica. Is it within? He said, nah. I even forgot nah, the current nah. And it is you know, it seems you gave a wrong answer. Make sure you reply by yes or no. So that's another way to control this. So I don't know whether it makes sense. There are other ways to that's your assignment. Go and then explore those ones. The last question, then I move on to. Is there any question? You can type it if you don't want to. Maybe unmute yourself or something like that. Oh, guys, let me take water and go. So I'm waiting for the question. Okay, so now let's continue. It's like everybody's fine. I'm glad everybody's fine. Now let me do the last example. Or I should just no, I won't do the last example. Let me move to loops. Let me move to loops. Then maybe when there is time. Okay, Samira. Yeah, Samira. Your hand is up, please. Or you kidding me? Let me put it down for you. So let me. I'm not going to do the last example because okay, sure. Samira says go ahead. So the reason why I'm not going to do the last example is that we're lacking behind time and we need to speed up. So now let's look at loop or loops. Or you let me try do the last example. Someone is convincing me here. Now the last example is going to be leveraging on. So it's a grading system. It has the students um, their score. So your score is actually going to be it's going to be integer. What was your score in the exam? And then you enter, and then we say that now we're going to so if score is greater than this is less than rather. Why is greater than or equal to so this is how we do greater than or equal to in Python. Greater than or equal to I mean 80 to 100 is less greater than or equal to 80. Then we print let me just do it fast. A. So since it is more than this thing we use else if. So if score is actually greater than equal to 70, that's 70 79. So we're printing B. Now let me copy this and pasting, I can be typing, I'm tired. Cool. So this is for C, D, E, and of course the last one. So now, if we come here, if you have 60 to 69, you have C. If you have 50 to 59, you have D. If you have 40 to 49, you have E, right? And so the last one is actually going to be else because that's the only thing left. So if you don't have all of these, then Charlie Wabon, you got F. Because if you don't get A, B, C, D, or E, then you got F. Because there is nothing, apart from that. So now let me try. What was your score? I know I'm a very brilliant guy. I got 34. I got F. So what was your score? Samira got 23. Samira is, my TA got 85 or 89. So A. Um, someone got 74 or 75. B. Something like that. Now there is a logic. It flows from top to down. Someone will say, okay, since we're doing it this way, then if I enter, 70, it can give me A. Because I'm saying that if the score I enter is greater than or equal to 70, meaning that, if I enter 70, it should give me A because A is actually, it goes up like that, but that's not how it works. So it first takes the first condition and so when you input your score, for example, 75, it will pick the first condition and see is the score greater than or equal to 80? No. So it will bypass this and then come to the second condition. Is it Does it satisfy this? If yes, it will give you this. If no, it will come to the next one until it finds what it satisfies. That is how it works. So this is how we can also implement multi option or multiple sided if something like that. So now let me jump quickly into loops. We find more time. My TA will tell you more about this. So now let's look at loops. What are loops? Loops are simply, I say, loops are repetitions. You know, you realize that this code, this code here, if you use it, if you use it, for example, if you just type 45, you get E. That's where the program stops. If I want to use it again, I have to rerun the cell again. But I don't want to be doing that. I want it to be in such a way that imagine you are you are a teacher and you're using this to grade the students, and you want you have to rerun restart the app every time you enter every that is very tedious. That is not how apps work in real life. When you have an app like the results checker or probably something like that, after using the app it doesn't go off. Everybody else can actually use the app again or something like that. So, how do we repeat task without, what I mean by repetition is not like you hard coding, something like maybe hard coding or um, or running the thing yourself like I do, running the cells myself. How do we automate things? And that is what we call loops. So loops are just repetitions, they are just repetitions. So when we say a loop is is basically a repetition. How do we spell repetition? I think it's in every program. So when you hear programming, loop in programming, it means repetition. So you can say we have two types of loops. There are two types. By the programming. Let me do this. So we have the um, for loop, and we have the while loop. So that's it. So we have a for loop and we have a while loop. So a loop is basically a repetition, and we have two types of for loop. Now let's quickly look at for loop. So we look at for a for loop. So a for loop is simply, you know, put it at the back of your mind. When we talk of loops, we're talking about repetitions, how we can loop through. Those of you who know English very well, you know this thing. I'm looping through something. I'm looping through something. The ladies, you know that. So loops are just they are just repetitions. So if you want to iterate, in programming we like using the word iteration. So if you want to iterate or repeat things automatically in programming, then you have to resort to loop. So we have two types of loop: the for loop and then the while loop. I think I have to even start with the while loop. You know, yeah, that will be better so that you don't run into problems. So let's look at the while loop. Just like the name says, while while is like a condition. You get it? While is a condition. So while he was in school, whilst Kwame Nkrumah was the president, whilst I was still a young guy, whilst I was still alive, whilst I was married, whilst I was single, whilst I was in Ghana, you know, all those things. So like condition, talking of. So it's that thing stops when the condition ceases. So for example, whilst I was in Ghana, or while I'm still in Ghana, I'm still going to enjoy Gobe. Meaning that you will stop enjoying Gobe once you leave Ghana. But as since you're still in Ghana, or as far as you're in Ghana, you still buying Gobe. Those of you who don't know Gobe, like my TA Gobe is, I don't know whether it is, I'm very sure every university has Gobe. Like Southern here, you know, most of the students here, it is Gobe which is saving them. One of them I know, the name starts with S and ends with A, you know. So that is, so whilst I'm still a student, I'll I'll be eating gobe or I'll survive on gobe or something like that. So it means that if you cease to be a student, then you would what stop eating gobe. So it's like a conditional statement. So whilst you are a student, you keep repeating that statement you said. So while loop is actually a loop or a repetition based on condition. So a repetition based on condition. Let me try add it here. I'm not good with definitions. I always try to make it very simple for us. Repetition based on no condition or conditions. So this repetition is actually based on condition. So as far as the condition is true, there is a repetition. But when it is false, then that thing ceases. So that is it. So to create a for loop in Python, just like we do for if, so you begin with the keyword for and then condition or conditions. Now then the statement. Okay, who wants to talk? You can go ahead. Oh, Charlie, sorry. Nyami, I'm tired. No, no, fine. Thank you for that. I'm tired. So instead of for, just change it to wow. So wow. So Rashad, it means you are really following. Rashad is a good student, unlike somebody I know. It's fine. Thank you very much for that. So while then the condition, then the statement or the statements you want to repeat to be repeated. Or that's how we write it, right? So that's how we do it. So while then the condition or conditions, then the conditions we want to. Now let me do something. So let's try an example. So let's say we want to while 3 is less than 4 colon. Always don't forget for loop, while loop, if they all end with colon, hit enter, then the condition, you can see the indentation. While 3 is less than 4, I want to print, let me make this way so that I want to print welcome to Python crash course. Now let's see something. You can see it keeps printing, right? It keeps printing and printing and printing. It never ends. So you can see it's I cannot even see. So you cannot even see it's like it's continuous printing. Why? Because this you can see it is still attached. It will go out till maybe your computer dies or something like that. Why? Because you know this condition is always going to be true. It is never going to be false. Because 3 is always going to be less than 4. So when such a thing happens, then we actually gonna have uh, so when such a thing happens, then we have what we call uh, infinite loop. Infinite loop. So you can see it was typing stay till I stopped it. So it is doing so because it typed over I don't know thousands or something like that. Because let me even make it this way. It typed over 1,000. because you know what, uh, my machine is even freezing for now. When these things happen, mostly your machine will freeze and what other stuff because it eats a lot of memory in the in the computer. So that is one thing I would like to tell you. Whenever you're using while loop and you give a condition and you don't control it, you don't control the condition, it is always going to be uh, let me see if